Hey everyone, it's Joe from greenlightsound.com, and in today's video we've got a look at Perfect Room, a new algorithmic reverb plugin from Denise Audio. And Perfect Room takes a different spin on algorithmic reverb by trying to get rid of some of those metallic ringing artifacts that can happen with some artificial reverbs. And they come up with a new process, Denise Audio has, to avoid those and create a very natural sounding room. Rather than going into great depth over all the controls of the plugin, which you can find out in other videos, and from the one from Denise Audio does a great job in going over those. I'm going to do a real quick overview of what the controls are. Then I just want to play it on a bunch of different sources, go through a lot of the presets that are included so we can get a sense of the sounds that we can get out of Perfect Room. It can replicate a Perfect Room, but it can also go way beyond that with some of the effects that are included in there. First of all, right at the top, we have the different types of decay tail, natural being what you would normally hear a room be like. Triangle and square have the decay sound kind of unnatural, but very cool for special effects. The overall room type, you've got really bright room, flat room, very natural sounding, dark and very dark. Flip reverses the reverb tail, very cool for special effects. Split goes between mono and stereo. Blue would be mono, pink would be stereo. If I click on shimmer here, this speaker icon turns it on. We can control the wet-dry mix of this effect by clicking and dragging up and down. And the shimmer is basically a pitch shifter. You've got the input source amount here, the lower octave and the upper octave. The detune section kind of mimics old wow and flutter from tape machines and some pitch variation that goes on in the reverb tail. And the ducker, which is really nice that it's included. It allows the dry signal to key a sidechain compressor on the wet signal. So when the dry signal is happening, the wet signal is compressed. And when the dry signal stops, the reverb can then kind of blossom into its full volume. So it's great that all three of those are included. So the first thing I want to do is listen to it on drums. First, I'm going to bypass the plugin. Here is just the dry drum. I'll engage the plugin. This is what it is in its default state. I'll turn the mix all the way up for just the reverb. And dial it back down. That sounds nice. Here it is without again. With. We control the length of the plugin by the tail here. You can certainly put a pre-delay in. You've got input and output gain here, high pass, low pass filter, and the width control for if you want it mono or stereo or in between. The next thing I want to do is go through some of the presets. So I'm going to go right to drums here. The first, oops, that was the second drums preset. The first drum preset here called Heavy Drum Room. The mix is dialed back to 6% here. Here's what it sounds like. Dial its mix. Here's full wet mix. Dial back. Nice sound. Next one is called Quick, Tight, and Wide. This is full wet. And I'll dial back the mix. And finally, tight room with bottom end for drums. Without. And engaged. Nice, very natural. So what I'm going to do is take that same preset and I'm going to dial up the tail so we can hear how we can extend the length of the reverb. Very shimmery on top there. Nice. So the next source we're going to try it on is bass, and one of the things the developer Denise Audio talks about is how the reverb can handle bass elements really well. So we'll try it out on a bass guitar part. So this is called Tight Room with Bottom End. That's the name of the preset. Here is the dry bass part without. And engaged. And it's nice that the preset is in mono because you kind of don't want that low end of your mix to be very wide in stereo. If you did want to put it in stereo, it sounds cool, but that would kind of ruin the bottom end of your mix. That's why they call it a tight room with bottom end, because you don't want to really have that flabby bottom end in your mix. It can make it sound pretty out of control. Let's try a couple other presets just on the bass part here. This is a reverse reverb. Very cool for a special effect. Big room, big decay on that one. Cool. So the next element we're going to try this on is acoustic guitar. So let me pull up a guitar preset. This one is called 3D Depth. Here it is without any reverb. And now with the reverb dialed in. Had to push up that output a bit so you could hear it. Without and with. Yeah, that is a really good description, 3D depth. Just a little bit of space around that acoustic guitar part, which sounds really nice. The next guitar preset is called Untreated Short Room. I'll blend it in with the fader. Another very natural, great sounding room for guitars. Those two presets are excellent for acoustic guitar because you really don't want a really washed out long reverb for that, but that small, tight room sound is really helpful for that element. It sounds great on there. Let's try it out now on electric guitar with some of those same guitar presets. Just does a really nice job of creating that sense of room around the guitar part. So the next element I want to try it out on is the vocal part. And this is going to be the lead vocal we're listening to. And I brought up the first vocal preset here, large room lead. I'm going to dial in this mix to taste once I start it.
I was born with my father's name, my mother's eyes, but we don't see the same. Yeah, what they want ain't what I need. Can anybody out there hear my screams? 'Cause
great sound. Now, we want to hear what that sounds like in stereo. There's one real easy way to do that. Since this is a mono track, in Studio One, I can just flip it into a stereo track, and now we'll hear the reverb effect in stereo.
I was born with my father's name, my mother's eyes, but we don't see the same. Yeah, what they want.
Here's full wet. Bring it back.
The same. Yeah, what they want.
So now we'll look at vocals, make it deeper preset. Bring back the mix a bit.
I was born with my father's name, my mother's eyes, but we don't see the same.
You can really hear the effect of that extra dark room type. Let me not talk over the tail this time.
I was born with my father's name.
Very cool. Next one, super large ambience.
with my father's name, my mother's eyes, but we don't see the same. Yeah, what they want ain't what I need.
Next vocal preset is Super Short Room.
I was born with my father's name, my mother's eyes, but we don't see the same. Yeah, what they want ain't what I need. Can anybody out there hear my screams?
Yeah, it's only a 60 millisecond tail, so that's a really small room there. Untreated Metallic Space is the name of this one.
I was born with my father's name, my mother's eyes, but we don't see the same. Yeah, what they want ain't what I need.
Very cool, especially for a special effect there. So this one's called Where Is That Sound Even Coming From? Let's see what this does to the vocal.
My mother's eyes, but we don't see the same. Yeah, what they want ain't what I need.
Huge pre-delay time there, which makes that sound really cool. This is Why Do You Sound Like You're Playing Backwards?
I was born with my father's name, my mother's eyes, but we don't see the same.
Very nice. And if I want to, I can go right back to that very natural sounding reverb. I'm just going to go back to one of the vocal sounds. I'm going to draw up that decay time a bit, bring the mix down a bit.
I was born with my father's name, my mother's eyes, but we don't see the same. Yeah, what they want ain't what I need.
So there it is, Perfect Room from Denise Audio. You can create anything from really natural sounding small to medium to large spaces to special effect type reverbs. Highly recommended. You can get it on sale now through the end of the year as well, the end of 2019. I want to say a big thank you to Denise Audio for providing me a copy to take a look at. Don't forget, if you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you in the next one.